Hi and welcome back. Today will be a quick lesson and drawing activity that will focus around the idea of contour lines. Contour line drawing is used by artists to sketch out or draw the shape and form of an object or a person or a plant or even a landscape that ignores all values and color. And what you'll be doing is we'll be using line to create the shape and form of an object and using textured lines. So all that practice of jagged lines or broken lines or small texture lines will be employed in an activity that will end with something that looks a lot like this. This is a contour line drawing I did of my orchid plants. Plants are a great subject matter with their organic shapes and wavy lines and jagged lines and different textures that you can capture. But if you'd notice, there isn't any use of light and dark areas. I've got some lines here to describe texture where there's kind of a dead spot on my leaf. I've used some jagged lines and small shapes to create the texture of the soil. And I've used curved organic lines for the leaves and then more straight rigid lines to describe the texture of the plant pot that it's in. So materials you'll need today is just any kind of drawing surface. I'm just going to use a found piece of cardboard. It came in the bottom of a to-go bag, and then any object, and then something to draw with. You can draw with a pencil. I recommend markers and pens because that way you're really ignoring shading, and with a pencil sometimes we create sketchy lines and tend to use value even when we don't mean to because it's a habit. So gather your art, press pause and gather any art materials you want to draw with, and find an object that won't be too challenging if this is the first time you've done this, or if this is something you've practiced before, find something that might challenge you that has texture or a different variety of lines. So press pause and gather what you need to proceed with the drawing. Once you have everything, set up your drawing materials in front of you, and then find an object. I'm going to be drawing just this simple half and half carton that was recently emptied out, and putting it in front of you where you can see it well. Carefully kind of pay attention if it's a geometric object like mine. I'm thinking of the angles of the lines. If it's a more organic object, you're going to find a starting point. And so I think I'll begin with the bottom of my container. I'm drawing and paying attention to the angles of the lines that are created by the box shape of my carton. And it looks like my drawing will go off the page maybe a little bit, which is okay. And I'm really just trying to capture the form of this carton. I'm really not concerned about the lines being perfectly straight either. There's a texture to my cardboard, so that's influencing the quality of my lines. And there you have it. I've drawn just a quick, simple geometric shape. I've ignored all the language on the label of my carton. I wanted to keep this drawing short just to illustrate the idea of what a contour line drawing can do. Here I've just got my basic lines that create the overall shape, and then where there's the screw top or the lid screws on, there is a little bit of texture line. So I'm using maybe some shorter, smaller lines to create a texture, much like how I used my lines on my orchid to create a rough texture here and then a texture in the soil. So this is a quick activity you can do with any object to pass the time. And the only thing to really think about is just trying to capture that form, right? This is a three-dimensional form, and then trying to capture any kind of texture and just ignoring all light and dark areas as possible. Thanks, I hope you enjoyed this drawing activity, and feel free to practice it and rewatch as many times as you'd like.